So, on behalf of Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive, I'm going to make a clarification. I'm going to make a video clarifying the financial picture in terms of what we're seeking and what we hope to obtain in order to make the Onvoi Entertainment System a viable reality where it would be a unique consumer product, electronics product on the market that would be the happy medium between video games and passive traditional entertainment content. And it would result in a unique, distinctive, and dynamic entertainment platform that is hardware based, which would give it a key advantage in terms of the marketplace. Because by having a hardware based platform that's based in hardware technology, we would have significant advantages compared to other streaming options and other traditional video game console units that would be out there, because the essence and the brilliance of Onvoi is that we're not necessarily competing with video games or streaming platforms, because by having an autonomous standalone tech hardware based platform, we're going to be able to facilitate a happy medium where it's not as immersive and as limited from a demographic standpoint as far as the video game industry, and yet it's not as saturated and fatigued as the traditional streaming OTT streaming market, because the trends are shifting rather rapidly. Now, in terms of, just to give you in terms of market size, some of the figures, in terms of projections, by 2025, experts in the industry and market reports expect and anticipate the streaming, the OTT streaming, to be somewhere in terms of the market size opportunity industry wide. Expect the numbers to be somewhere in the vicinity of 180 billion with a B. That's 180 billion for streaming. That industry I consider an industry within itself. And then there's video games. The video games industry by 2025 is anticipated to have a market size in terms of investment opportunities and the money going in and out of it, and not just from a revenue standpoint, not just from a consumer spending, but the entire financial picture. In terms of video games, that industry by 2025 is projected to be 196 billion with a B. So streaming 180 billion, video games 196 billion. Well, the interactive industry, which Onvoi hopes to have a substantial role in terms of market presence within this exciting, emergent, somewhat disruptive, but actually so unique and distinctive within itself that it need not be compared with either of those industries, but it's just to give investors and the VC, the venture capital community, some kind of an idea as far as what are the possibilities in terms of return on investment, and in terms of the emergence of a new market, a new industry, the interactive industry, that could be as revolutionary and as impactful and as financially gainful as streaming networks and video games were many years ago and still are today. So the midpoint in terms of those averages, because we see the Onvoi technology model, the idea of an autonomous hardware-based platform, the box that's situated underneath the TV set, and with proprietary data disk insertion of a proprietary nature, the sold as separate items and not content on demand option, and not digital distribution, but the hardware element to it. And the fact that the consumers will have interactive say and interactive input so that they guide the stories and guide the adventures and become the masters of the storytellers by having direct interactive input, so that alternative endings emerge, so that characters make different decisions that result in unique and different sequences and scenes, so that characters enter into different environments based on the audience participation, the interactive participation, the interactive input, which is user-friendly and simple because we've developed a proprietary 2-push-button remote control that we call a keypad device, whereby a simple and a toddler can do it and a senior citizen can do it, and all demographics, people of all ages will enjoy it significantly because of the user-friendliness and the simplicity involved in a 2 push-button remote control that essentially allows consumers to guide the adventures in a choose-your-own-adventure type format as far as a unique standalone tech platform. That's our definition of the interactive industry, and we think the user friendliness and the simplistic approach and the user-friendly approach to the technology development and the practicality aspect of how easy it's going to be for consumers to be delighted by these new experiences, interactive experiences. We think that we should have Onvoi, my company, should have a substantial chunk of that market size in terms of the projected by 2025 188 billion dollar industry that could be the interactive industry going forward into the next 4 or 5 years. Now, what we see from our personal vantage point in terms of Onvoi, we were hoping to raise 30 million to 300 million. And as I mentioned in a previous video done a couple days ago, the financial impact that Onvoi can have in terms of return on investment will depend on what groups and what venture capital groups invest what amount now. So the return on investment, it'll all be allocated proportionally based on who is lead investor and who's a follow-up investor and who is willing to, I wouldn't say take the most risk, but who is willing to be the most generous and the most interested in terms of advancing the strategy of Onvoi going forward. But the whole market size of the interactive industry is projected by market experts, and they're few and far between, but they're very diligent and very informed, and they are offshoots of some people involved in the video games and the streaming that know exactly what they're talking about, and they made tremendously accurate predictions in the past and seem to be very savvy still today. So $188 billion industry, we seek Onvoi because of our user-friendly and simplistic and practical and narrow approach to what interactive is. We seek 30 to 300 million. If we obtain 300 million, and it could come from different funds, there could be a lead investor that could give 30, there could be one investor that could give 7 to 7.5. But if we obtain $300 million, and the sooner the better, then in 4 years' time, by 2025, we project a return on investment of $6 billion because we've already done the analysis where we foresee 4 years to create 20 to 25 interactive miniseries that will be programmed in the box underneath, situated underneath the TV set. And then in 4 years' time, we project the manufacturing and completion of the Onvoi Entertainment System, so that it's eventually 30 million units, consumer product units, tech electronic product, the Onvoi Entertainment System, which is the box that's installed easily underneath the TV set, and two push-button remotes, two push-button remotes, keypad devices. The 2 remote controls in the box underneath the TV set with 20 to 25 interactive original miniseries programmed into it. For 300 million, we can get that done in 4 years. And then we have a very strategic goal of selling 30 million units of the OES, the Onvoi Entertainment System, worldwide. And we think there's a tremendous demand for simple, user-friendly, short in duration, interactive content which will be nostalgic, but also brand new and revolutionary and innovative in terms of the leaps and bounds made and the mixing of the concepts of user simplicity and user friendliness and also state-of-the-art technology and pushing the forward envelope as far as technology by actually simplifying it, which is not counterintuitive. That makes 100% sense. 30 million units sold, and we're looking at $6 billion in revenue. Okay? And then if we have interest rates, and this is something that I hope we don't have to belabor in terms of negotiating because it's only going to stonewall the project, and I think we're all going to get handsomely paid in the end. But even if the interest rates for these venture capital groups, whether it's the lead investor or the subsequent investors, or people who are willing to invest a more marginal amount or whatever they can afford just to get in through the door and be a part of this fantastic adventure. If the interest rate is 20%, with that 300 million, which will be aggregated, and then the returns on investments will be allocated proportionally. 20% return on investment for the 300 million investment from different groups. 60 million with an M return on investment just on the interest rates alone, just on the interest. And we can talk about the private equity route, but it's going to be one of those things where if we add too many shareholders before even thinking about going public down the road and doing an IPO, if we add too many shareholders now to the equation, I foresee complications, because I don't want to get into it, but trust me when I say that the standard venture capital, traditional venture capital investment model with interest rates as high as 20%, would be a very lucrative investment, and that 60 million would be allocated proportionally based on who invested what, when, and etc. Now, the other thing to consider is it shouldn't be such a cut and dry investment where it's just, passive income, then get your return and it disappears. Eventually, the end goal, the strategic goal of Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive is to have an initial public offering on the NASDAQ market. So we have that exciting adventure to look forward to as far as further enhanced returns on investment in terms of capital, and also the direct-to-consumer, the home entertainment interactive model, which is what I described just now a little while ago, which is the box for purposes of home entertainment, the home entertainment industry, the direct-to-consumer industry. That little box underneath the TV set with the remote controls that enables user-friendly and simplistic interactive input to guide the stories and guide the adventures for home entertainment. That's just the first snapshot. That's the first strategic pillar in terms of what Onvoi has in mind. And the investments that are obtained to help facilitate the engineering and the manufacturing of the Onvoi Entertainment System, those simultaneously, those investment dollars and the resources and the expenditure of time and energy and resources as we build what we build for the home entertainment market, which will be unique and fascinating, distinctive and different. We're also going to develop similar technology models that will eventually enable interactive cinema. So you have to think about the tremendous opportunities that lie in Onvoi and that could result. That's strategic pillar one is a nascent, new, revolutionary, exciting, distinctive, different market opportunity that would delight audiences of all types in terms of home entertainment. But the technology model in terms of the consumer holding a remote control that is user-friendly and will engage them in content more than ever before, similar technology models would be constructed within the Onvoi parameters so that interactive cinema could be enabled going forward. And so it wouldn't just be a cut and dry $60 million just passive investment that results in 20% return in 4 years' time, which would be very lucrative in itself. But you investors who are watching these videos and are interested in investing also need to realize the second strategic pillar out of three, and I won't name the third one until later, and it's also very practical, and it will happen. The second strategic pillar becomes interactive cinema, where we're going to revolutionize and make more exciting than ever movie theater attendance experiences, because that industry, if you want to do the market comparison, the box office industry, it's going to need a lot of help and needs to create new, exciting, motivational reasons for people to attend. Well, with the user-friendly interactive input that the Onvoi technology model offers the marketplace, or will offer the marketplace if this investment is facilitated and is made to happen, then we're going to see lucrative returns further down the road, far beyond the 60 million that would be the passive income ROI. And so we have a lot to look forward to, and then eventually the strategic end goal is to go public. And we're going to facilitate an IPO on NASDAQ, where eventually we very much hope that everyday consumers, everyday shareholders, everyday families have a lucrative and practical and exciting reason to invest their hard-earned dollars in Onvoi stock so that they can be a part of the adventure, part of the journey, and keep an eye on what should be a truly outstanding American company that values ingenuity, values innovation, values profits, values returns on investments, and above all else, values the delightment, the excitement, the satisfaction of consumers of all people, all types, all backgrounds. Thank you so very much for listening. Have a wonderful day, and on behalf of Onvoi and Onvoi Interactive, I hope to be hearing from these venture capital groups so that we can make this exciting vision a reality and do wonders for those involved from a financial level and all consumers who will eventually love and enjoy the entertainment products, the interactive entertainment products. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.